Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I wanted to break down a lot of the latest information for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon and just The Walking Dead in general. We have some new posters. We actually have some new Comic-Con details, which is very, very exciting because I thought that they might not actually show up to Comic-Con because they were going to Palais Fest, but it looks like they're actually doing both, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, I want to get into that and talk about some of the early reviews as well that will be coming out very soon and get into exactly when. And then I want to talk about something regarding, I guess, screeners and all that and the ones who live because, yeah, really interesting in terms of how a lot of that is playing out right now with Daryl Dixon because of a lot of the stuff that happened, you know, during the ones who live. So yeah, before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. The show is returning in just 16 days. There's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about here. Every single day, it seems like there's something coming out now. So the first thing that I want to talk about here is the new posters that we have for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 2. And first of all, I guess I'll start off with this one because this was the first one that I saw. And we talked about this the other day, but I didn't know if it was official or not, and also the font was a little different, so it looks like this one is the more official one here. I saw this in an article from tvline.com, so I'll leave a link down below to the article here, and they talk a lot about season 2, they get into a bunch of stuff, so yeah, if you do want to go check out that article, definitely go and do so. But in terms of the poster here for this one, I mean, obviously I gave my thoughts the other day. I mean, really incredible. You see the nest on the very far left. On the right there, I don't know if that's Ash's farm or whatnot, or if that's a reference to something else, but I'm assuming that that's what that is. You do see the plane in the back, so obviously it's a reference to Carol getting to France, right? And then you do see Carol here. So yeah, it's really cool because you see Daryl here, and I like the way the poster's actually done here. Like, this is a poster that I would definitely get on my wall, because I was looking at the other poster and I wasn't exactly sure. These are the best, I think, posters for season 2. I mean, they just look absolutely incredible, and just like the colors and stuff of the poster look different than the other season 2 posters, because the other season 2 posters, the colors looked very similar to season 1, which was all like just very yellow. It was like yellow and dark yellow. Here, obviously, you see some of the yellow and darker yellows, but there's some like green and like blues or whatever, right? So I feel like this is the perfect color palette, I guess you would say, for season 2, and I really do like this poster a lot. I don't know which one I'm gonna get though, because there's this one and the other one, but I will say in terms of what this means symbolically, it's kind of cool because you see Daryl and then obviously you see Carol there, and it's almost like Carol is always going to be in Daryl's heart sort of thing, right? Like it almost feels like that's sort of what the poster is trying to say, because we have this other shot here of Carol, and it's the same exact thing. We have Carol here, and then Daryl is also, I guess, in Carol's heart, right? Like they're both linked, they're both very connected, and they're always going to be very connected. You know, I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, should I do a video on this? And I was like, oh, there's really no point, but I'll just bring it up as a thought here. I was thinking about it. Who's Daryl closer with? Is it Carol or is it Rick? I really think it's Carol. Like, Daryl's reaction to when Rick, you know, apparently died on the bridge, he was so heartbroken and all of that. He left and he lived in the woods and all of that. But could you imagine if that was Carol on the bridge? Like, I think Daryl's reaction would have been absolutely insane in that moment. Him and Carol are just that close, right? Like, it's Daryl and Carol. It's just, they've always been a character pairing since season 2. So it makes sense that the spinoff is going to be on these two characters, and it works really well. I do like the tagline at the top too, like, even heroes need saving, because you always need to come up with some sort of tagline for the season, and I think sometimes it can be a little cheesy, sometimes it might not work, but I do like that. Like, that makes a lot of sense, and it really does fit this season because Daryl needs help, Carol also needs help, and definitely there is more mystery as to why Carol needs help, because obviously when you're looking at the plot overall, Carol is going there to go and rescue Daryl, so it's like, well, Daryl needs help, but Carol, I think we're going to see a lot in episode 1, exactly why she needs help. You know, like, Carol is going there physically to help Daryl, but I think Carol finding Daryl and, you know, them together, I think is going to help Carol a lot emotionally, because there's a lot of stuff in the trailer, obviously, with Sophia, and there's a lot of things that I think they're going to be getting into that's very new to The Walking Dead that we don't even really know anything about, like in terms of, you know, how she's dealt with the loss of Sophia, and a lot of personal things to Carol, because that's the great thing about the spinoffs, is that they really focus a lot on the characters specifically and get into stuff that the original show just never would have gotten into. So yeah, really incredible stuff. These posters look absolutely incredible. I just had to talk about them because, again, these posters are definitely my favorite ones. But I also wanted to get into some details here for New York Comic Con. So again, the other day they announced details for Palais Fest, and I figured that well, that was probably going to be it, that we weren't going to see them at New York Comic Con, because I believe Pally Fest, or at least when The Walking Dead's going to be there, is on October 19th. Well, it looks like they're actually going to be at New York Comic Con the day before. So it's going to be a really intense, 2 days here. So on the Friday, October 18th at 6 p.m. Eastern, according to at TWalkingDWorld here on Twitter, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon and The Walking Dead Dead City will be there. So there's actually going to be some promotion for Dead City. It's not just Daryl Dixon. So I think we're going to get a sneak peek. I saw that, I think Julian Cannon, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he broke the news on this here. So yeah, but he said that there's not only going to be sneak peeks, but also panels and I guess a press invited conference for both shows. So yeah, really incredible, obviously. And I'm really excited about that because we know Scott Gimple's going to be there. I'm assuming because he's going to be there at Pally Fest. He'll likely be here then. There's going to be a lot of talk. I mean, if there's press conferences, this is where, there's going to be a lot of talk about the future of The Walking Dead, other spinoffs, Rick and Michonne, and a lot of that. So I'm really, really excited for this. It's not just going to be a promotion for Daryl Dixon where they talk about the season and what it was like filming season 2, and then I guess talk about episode 4, which I think is airing that Sunday. There's going to be talk about just the show in general, what it's like filming season 3, future stuff, just everything with The Walking Dead. There's going to be some stuff with Rick and Michonne, I'm assuming, as well, because obviously I don't see how Scott Gimple goes through 2 events like that back to back on each day and completely ignores every question regarding Rick and Michonne. So what's going to be interesting too is that because there's 2 events, he's probably not going to be asked it just once. He'll probably be asked it more than that. And so that's, for me anyways, the reason why that's awesome is because, you can sort of read into a quote a lot, but sometimes if it's just one quote, it's hard to understand what they could mean. But if there's 2 quotes, you can kind of see overall, you have a better understanding anyways of the point that they're trying to put across, right? And so yeah, definitely really exciting. I really cannot wait for this. It looks like Dead City is going to be going first, and then we'll get Daryl Dixon afterwards. And yeah, so I'll be streaming for that as well. There'll be some live reactions to that. I'm very, very excited for that. And the other thing that I wanted to get into here was I saw this here from Julian Cannon, and again, he reviews The Walking Dead and everything, and he said that his review is coming on September 23rd, and I believe it's for the 2nd season. So I don't know if he's watched the 2nd season entirely, if he was just saying generally, but yeah, it's coming out on September 23rd. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what type of review this is going to be for The Walking Dead, if it's going to be just the first episode of Daryl Dixon season 2, if it's the first 3 or all 6, right? A full season review. So definitely I'm excited, and I'm wondering if other reviewers in general are going to be getting this. And that's where I wanted to talk about one thing as well, because the ones who live, if you remember when the show was airing back in February and March, a lot of people got screeners, and what happened because of that is that a lot of people were spoiling a lot of stuff online, and it seems like for this year anyways, they really did, they fixed a lot of that, because not a lot of people are being able to watch the episodes early, and so there's no spoilers online, which is just absolutely incredible, because for the ones who live, it was really hard to avoid spoilers. It got really, really bad for the first couple of episodes, and I saw, I think 2 or 3 things, I think it was 2 things beforehand, and it's definitely just unfortunate that has to happen, but I think that obviously AMC, they were on it, they fixed it, and that's why for Daryl Dixon season 2, there's been no issues at all. So I'm very excited for Daryl Dixon season 2, and I can't wait to hear everyone's thoughts on the season. And for me, I don't do screeners, and really the main reason why is because it does hurt how I talk about The Walking Dead, because if I've watched the episodes, or say already at this point I've watched the first 3 episodes, then what am I going to talk about until the show comes out? I'm not going to be able to really talk about anything because I already know everything, and I like being a fan and talking about different ideas of oh, where can this go? Oh, there's a new teaser that was released. Oh, what does this mean? Or there's new information, what does this mean overall? I think that definitely helps out a lot, and for me anyways, it's a lot more exciting. If I knew everything right away, then it would just be, okay, so yeah, I've done this and that, I know this, but I can't say anything. My video on this or review will be out on this day. It's just not as fun for me personally, and it looks like on September 23rd, there's going to be a review out anyways for Daryl Dixon season 2. We'll see if there's a lot more, or if that's going to be the only one. That's about 6 days before the show premieres, which is, I guess, a little bit later than The Ones Who Live, I believe, because I think The Ones Who Live, the early reviews came out on February 14th, I think, and then, yeah, that was 11 days before the premiere. So for Daryl Dixon, season 2, it looks like it's going to be 6 days, and yeah, I'm hyped for that. So definitely post all your thoughts down below. I'll leave it here. This was all the latest for The Walking Dead. There's a lot of other little things here and there, but yeah, obviously I'll add it to a video tomorrow or the next day. I prefer to not do videos on just like the smallest of things. Like I'll usually just sort of save a lot of information and combine it all in a video just like this, where I had like 3 or 4 things to talk about. So yeah, definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content like this, and I'll see you in the next.